They had a strong draft. You know, I did think they had the stronger draft.
Well, not gonna have to worry about a CP Ringo this time.
Making it easy for us. Rogue is actually going to ban away Koshka on their first rotation. Lyra and Adagio both open.
Yeah, most likely both going to be picked up here.
We know Gankstars do favor that Lyra pretty heavily.
Yeah, giving wrecked Lyra could spell trouble for the side of Rogue. You know, maybe they feel like they're confident enough to be able to deal with it, but ooh, Gangstar's not going to take it. Like, this is like, it's always been just don't give Gankstars Lyra. But they have the opportunity to take it. They prefer the Adagio here.
So I like these guys. I like Rogue. It's like, it's a rule. Don't give Lyra over. They give Lyra over.
Except, I mean, I'm really surprised Gankstars didn't pick it up. We'll have to see what they do with the Adagio. If it goes into the lane, into the captain position.
Yeah, they could probably play it in either place. Iraqi definitely has a very strong Adagio.
All right, Rogue now on their second rotation of bans has taken Vox off the field. Gankstars have a chance to go ahead and ban something of their own. Knowing that Rogue has the Lyra, there's certainly some things I'd prioritize. Blackfeather, for example, I think it could be dangerous to give over to Rogue.
Yeah, Blackfeather, Glaive, Samuel.
And that's the difficulty here. There's so many power picks available. Like, what do you prioritize? What do you take off the board? And what do you leave open?
Probably take out the Samuel.
So why Samuel over those other options, Humanist?
I think specifically, you know, with the fact that there's a good chance Iraqi could take the Adagio. And Samuel, well, all of those heroes would have an impact. I think the hardest to negate would be Samuel because he has that area of effect to disable that he's going to throw out every time a verse comes out. And then he's also going to be throwing out Malice and Verdict, and he's going to be throwing out, when that Drifting Dart comes out, it's going to be an area of effect. In which, you know, that's what Adagio is looking to control.
Another particular reason why they might ban away the Samuel here, actually, it's going to be the Baron instead. I'm going to say, and now this might be a reason why Rogue picks up the Samuel, is the fact that Samuel himself has a lot of sustain. You pair that with Lyra, and he becomes almost impossible to kill.
That's a really good point.
The movement speed increase allows him to stay in, move around inside of his Drifting Dark even more effectively. So a Samuel pick would be really good for Rogue here.
Yeah, it feels like it would.
I've got to agree with you guys. Let's see if they lock it in. They got all their bonus time to work with here, so they can certainly think it through. Gankstars banning away that Baron was an interesting choice. Obviously, something that Rogue likes to play. So a bit of a comfort ban there. Maybe thinking that Rogue, without it in their pocket, won't have quite the same level of performance.
It's interesting. Are you thinking about Lance here, Bacon?
I mean, you kind of always have to consider Lance.
Yeah.
Lance is one of those picks that can sort of fit into any composition and work well.
Yeah.
But
like especially if the Adagio goes to lane.
Yeah.
And Gankstar, it's not picked up here, which it doesn't feel like it would be strong for Rogue necessarily.
Yeah, well, they're gonna take the Finn.
Woohoo!
Carry Lyra.
They're giving that away pretty early on too. I mean, were they thinking that Gangstar's definitely taking the lane Adagio and they want Finn also? Maybe they just had to take it off the table here.
It's not a bad choice necessarily. Yeah, I mean, I think that could be where their mind's at.
I kind of want to see them pick up a Lance for their final pick. Just have that triple captain type of composition. That I mean, we saw that.
That Lance would be so hard to kill.
I believe it was it the, if I recall correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, the winter season, this most,
you don't have to tell me, you know I would correct you if you're
But not the winter season. The you didn't correct me when I just said winter season, but I believe it was the spring season most recently where triple roam comps were like a super common thing.
Yeah.
But Lance is going to be picked up. Granted, the triple roam was with Adagio.
So probably goes direct. I mean, low chance we see Xeno take it.
Most likely. I would think that would be the case.
What carry on Gankstars here? I mean, I would have said Gwen. Sorry, not Gwen. Vox.
Gankstars could always pick up the Arden. Or just go all out on these triple captain ideas.
Oh, God. Flicker? Flicker's up there, too. Why not?
It was
no, but in all seriousness, I
game.
mean, if we're looking at carry options here or jungle options, like, where's our head at? It's going to be the Taka.
Yeah, he'll
looking for repeat success.
Could easily go for, like, that Tension Bow into Stormcrown kind of Taka build.
The difficulty, though, could be with that Lyra. Lyra can shut down Taka very, very hard.
Yeah.
Finn kind of can, too.
Yeah.
Not quite to the same extent. Finn can spot the Taka after he goes invisible, but Taka can just really easily avoid quibbles coming from Finn, which is one of the core facets of Finn.
I feel like you might consider going weapon Taka here, just to because you don't want to rely on like the regen from your Kaku's crystal if Finn's going to pull you out of it consistently, and you don't want to rely on your dashes for your damage if you're going to be stopped by a bright bulwark. So
absolutely, and I think it may partially depend on this final pick from Rogue, but definitely leaning towards a weapon Taka.
What pick rounds out Rogue's composition well here? We're assuming Lyra's in the lane, and it's not some kind of crazy jungle Finn out of Von C at Summer or something like that. They do need to pick up a jungler probably.
There's a couple things that could work here. The Sky could work really well, except Taka kind of does really well into Sky, so you may shy away from that. Possibly Black Feather could be another option.
Could be an option.
Maybe the Jewel.
I think you definitely want to put the Jewel in the lane. You got to get all that gold on there. And it's going to be Kroll. I was thinking Kroll, but they definitely have some tools to deal with him. But he'll be able to shut down that Adagio. It's going to be tough.
I'm always so iffy seeing a Kroll go into a Taka.
Yeah.
Just you get those breaking point stats, or not the breaking point. You get the weakness stacks built up, and you're just about ready to hit the Spectral Smite, and Taka just disappears, and you're just like, well, all that work was for nothing.
It is a weird matchup for sure. I mean, we do have the Finn to maybe pull Taka out and make it so the Smite can work. That's certainly one way this could go.
I mean, also the polite company, coming out when Kroll's trying to engage on these fights, just a little bit of extra durability. Sometimes that's all he needs just to survive, to get that Spectral Smite out.
And Kroll needs every hit he can possibly get on an enemy. Polite company does not pull you in very far, but it pulls you in enough that you maybe get 2 more basics off as Kroll. That can be a lot for him.
Unless you overdrive the polite company, which we might see this time around. It's not something that a lot of Finns are doing at the moment, but it could be something that we see come out in this particular matchup just to get that extra pull-in.
All right, well, I want some predictions here. Are Rogue going to be able to come back in this series?
Yep. Rogue are coming back.
I don't think so. I think Gankstars are going to be able to take this one. The Kroll into Taka is just... It's too iffy for me. As someone who loves Kroll, that's one of my least favorite matchups to play, of all time. So I just don't know if that's going to be able to make things work.
Yeah.
I'm also curious about the Adagio, because one thing that I've formerly heard is that Kroll is really, really good into Adagio. So that being there, does that make up for some of this Taka matchup perhaps for you?
Not so much, because there is a lot of protection for the Adagio, and they're going to be able to really try and keep the Kroll away from the Adagio. The Lance is going to do wonders for helping to keep Adagio safe. Adagio is just going to be at a distance.
Okay, say you get the Kroll runs out of the bush. He's onto Adagio. You get the wall him away. Dead Man's rush back in. Now what's going to peel him?
Impale. Land the Impale while he's trying to hit the Dead Man's rush. Stop him in his tracks. Adagio gets far enough away.
So we're using everything on Kroll and ignoring the Lyra, though, in this scenario.
I think so, yeah. I mean, the Lyra is definitely going to help.
It's going to be also,
and
sorry to talk over you. It's going to be hard also, I think, to block the pulls if you're focused on Kroll. And then you're also, the From Hell's Heart is going to be coming through, hopefully, properly.
Yep.
So there's a couple things that they definitely want to look to block out.
There are definitely tools to help keep the Kroll onto a target, and that's what I like to see. I love seeing when you pick up the Kroll. Sometimes when a team picks up a Kroll, they're just like, okay, Kroll's just really good into this matchup, but they have nothing to help complement it. Yeah. By having the carry Lyra, that is such a big compliment to a Kroll. Has the slow from the Bright Bulwark, Crystal Power Lyra, the slow from the second attack from her heroic perk, slows massively. And so I think that could really help the Kroll, but again, it's that jungle matchup that I'm really concerned about.
I certainly am a big fan of roam Lyras with Kroll, because I feel like you can kind of tag team and go in with the Arcane Passage, get that initial jump for the Kroll. When you're playing the carry Lyra, though, it's a bit hard to pull the trigger on that. Sorry for the delay, guys. We are heading on to the Halcyon Fold for game number 2 of our second semifinals between Rogue and Gankstars. Rogue need to win this game to stay in this weekend's tournament. Let's pass it on over to Jaws and Excoundrel.
Thank you very much, AJ and the boys. My name is Jaws, obviously joined by Excoundrel. They're not wrong. Rogue need to pull their finger out a little bit and try and take a game off Gankstars right now as we do head into this second game. And what interesting comps coming out from both of these teams.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that we need to be aware with Rogue is that they are an incredibly gifted team. I mean, we saw them yesterday just surprise everybody. I think Rogue have been one of the major success stories of some of the new teams coming in. Wrecked, super aggressive there, but won't get punished. I mean, Rogue have been one of the major success stories for the North American VGA. They really have come in absolutely swinging. Great analysis behind them. They've got a really good team behind them as well. You know, obviously winning that preseason invitational too. Let's see what happens when they go on an absolute level playing field against Gankstars, because obviously Gankstars did a great job last game. Some of the best map control I've ever said, like I said, but they were kind of gifted a very early start, which they capitalized on with that unfortunate DC. So hopefully this time round we see a completely level playing field, and Rogue should be able to bring a very devastating challenge here to Gankstars.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. I mean, they spoke, at least when I had a small interview with Sibs. Oh, I'm gonna have to wait on Nana. Harry does get jumped on. Lyra is going to be the pick. She's going to be able to heal up fairly easily, so it's not too much of an issue. But already, just piling on the damage. Xenotech being very aggressive in this early game. Same with Sibs, in fact. He is kind of chilling out in Xenotech's jungle. But yeah, like I was saying, I had a little interview with Sibs. Just a little one-on-one, just talking about how he thinks this season's going to go. And he said, you know, we are looking really strong. I feel like we're a really top contender right now, like you mentioned as well. Ardin, their coach, just a fantastic guy. Really nice to talk to, and just helps them so much with these games, just looking over the games, obviously helping them out with scrims and all this kind of stuff as well. And yeah, they do look really good. And unfortunately, yeah, they had a bit of a mishap last game, but we'll see if they can pull it back.
Yeah, I didn't. I mean, from what I've seen from Rogue, I think they're definitely a top 3 North American team. Definitely, I mean, not, maybe even top 2, maybe even top 1 when absolutely on their heyday. So this is a team that we really have to look to for high performance. And like you said, Sibs has been a real standout for them too. Everybody from this Rogue lineup have really basically shaken up the North American VG8 scene about who could potentially lay on top. Right now, TSM are the team to beat. Again, you know, people talked about Cloud9, people talked about the potential for those guys to run away with things, but still, TSM continue their North American dominance, and it's still the team to beat. And the team that wins this best of 3 will be going toe-to-toe with TSM in the next series. And I've got to say, I think TSM are looking incredibly strong, but not unbeatable, like it has been proven. C9 took a game off them. So both of these teams have got a really good shot going forward.
Oh yeah, definitely. That'll be a matchup to watch if either of these teams can make it through to face them. And Sibs just kind of chilling out with Evo near the Elder Tree, and they do spot Xenotech. They know he's here. He's got those lightsaber katanas. He is doing a lot of damage to Sibs. Wrecked is going to join them as well. The Impale just completely misses. Githian Wall doesn't know. Sibs gets jumped into the wall. Iraqi's alright, is going to be here. Hammy joins them also. But that's going to be a lot of blinking health bars coming through from Gankstars. But Hammy is going to get taken down almost here. Xenotech comes through. He does end up assisting in yet another kill. 2 kills go over to the likes of Gankstars, with Evo just kind of walking away with his tail between his legs.
Oh, I forgot to talk about Xenotech actually going down the weapon power attacker build path, something that we don't see a huge amount compared to the Crystal Power and Stormcrown build path, but with the lane Adagio makes it slightly easier. Actually, Sib's going to get spotted out there. Can Xenotech get anything more from this? No. But with the lane Adagio means that obviously you're going to need a weapon power source. Get stolen away, and actually going the weapon power attacker gives you a lot of sustained damage. I think that's slightly worse against the Cruel though, because it gives Cruel more time to build up stacks on you, although Cruel's target realistically is going to be Adagio, so this maybe means that, you know, Xenotech can run havoc in the back line, just get that consistent sustained damage out. That's the difference between weapon power and crystal power attacker. Sustain for the weapon power, crystal power is the burst damage. Oh boy,
Xenotech going really aggressive again, just kind of runs away with it, no worries. Sibs and Evo take a little bit of damage as well. And yeah, Sibs has got that's my favorite skin, by the way, at least easily in this game. He's got a surfboard through him, like just the way it runs as well. Just with water coming out of the back.
I do like the Summer Party Cruel skin. I think it's very
10 out of 10.
Cool. But yeah, I think Cruel is considered one of the major counters to Adagio in terms of the fact that, you know, Adagio is fairly static, and if Cruel can land those weakness stacks on him, it means that his Verse of Judgment isn't going to have as much impact in terms of damage output. Obviously, his Gift of Fire is not going to be insane either. So a lot of people pick Cruel directly into Adagio because it's very easy to get the stacks built up on him, very easy to chase him down, and very easy to make his damage output very low. Has now hit his item spike of the alternating current, however, Jaws, and he's looking to be aggressive onto Sibs.
Yep, he has found Sibs, but Sibs jumps on the surfboard and runs away. No worries. And yeah, with that power spike there, man, Arakizora is going to look to fight. And we saw how aggressive he was in the last game, and he's kind of doing the same thing here. He's got 50 creep score above Hammy, like no, 20 even above Hammy. 50 would have been a bit of a ridiculous number. But Hammy already kind of falling back in this laning phase right now. And with Arakizora just being that very aggressive player, we saw what he could do on the Vox. Can he do it on the Adagio? That is the question.
Yeah, absolutely. I've seen Arakizora play CP Adagio countless times. He is a fantastic player and obviously has real skill on this particular hero. I also want to just sort of highlight the fact that obviously Lyra really good against the likes of Vox with low basic attack range, but there isn't, you know, Adagio doesn't have the same low basic attack range. He's got a decent level attack range, which is going to be harder for Lyra to exploit with Principum Arcanum. Again, super aggressive onto the...
Yeah, Sibs is going to get completely aggressive on here. Xenotech just jumps straight in, and yeah, you're right, super aggro coming out from Gankstars, and even you could say Rogue there, just being ridiculously aggressive and just fighting Gankstars there. Sibs didn't stand a chance in that 3v1, and Hammy and Evil just could not join him.
Putting pressure onto Cruel early on when he hasn't even got the Storm Crown is really good idea, because it means that he's not got a huge damage output. Realistically, the main thing that he can do is build weakness stacks and smite. So if you go in, you get the stuns onto him with Rekt getting the Githian wall into the Githian wall into the wall. Obviously, it's going to be hard to actually have a damage output for Sibs, and Gankstars knew that. They roamed in, and with the burst damage coming out from Arakizora, and obviously Xenotech having great power spike with the Sorrow Blade, completely ripped through him. Again, Gankstars, super aggressive, great map control, great prediction as well to know that Sibs would be around that area. Really, hats off to them. They've played this series a blinder. Yeah,
they really have. 3k gold lead as well already. It's 7.5 minutes in the game, and Gankstars, oh man, they really do pile on the pressure when they need it. And already Xenotech, it's the 7-minute infusion coming out from it. Really likes the infusions early on. That is just super aggro.
This is something that NA do that EU just don't. Like, NA love to get these early infusions. You don't often see it that much in EU, and this is something that's classically always been the case. I remember Playoff Beard, when I first started doing Vainglory and sort of, you know, trying to understand Vainglory plays and things like that. Everyone was like, you know, NA are super aggressive. They get early infusions around the 8-minute mark. You don't see this as much in EU. And it's still happening. NA still love to play on power spikes, and they buy infusions to coincide with item power spikes when they want to fight anyway. So giving them the extra bonus of an infusion allows them to capitalize, win a team fight, and get something from it. And that's exactly what Gankstars are trying to do here with this very early weapon infusion for Xenotech.
Oh man, he's going to be hitting like a truck as well when he actually does get on Hammy or Sibs. We'll see if he can. Sibs not going by Wizard Sibs anymore. No longer an ex-wizard, you could say. Arakizora just poking people down with fire, but no, Evo is just going to trade that bit of damage up. Nice. Nice Crucible coming out from Rekt. That will just stop the advances of Evo. And really, I mean, this Finn pick, how do you feel it coming into this comp? Because realistically, they're going to want to go on you anyway. And Xenotech is just going to want to get on your backline. And Evo's just got a target to pick, and he's got to pick it quick.
It's a lot of control, though. And obviously, Finn very good against Taka because you can pull him out of stealth with the Polite Company. So I don't mind the Finn pick, really. But like, I think with the
Sibs.
Cruel and the Lyra, they have to be aggressive. What is going on, Sibs? What?
Sibs, what are you doing? What? It's just, oh man, he's gonna combat roll over the wall. Sibs, what are you doing? Oh, he's not gonna be able to survive. I don't know why he's just sitting there. He's just trying to farm some of the minions. Like, just farm the minions. Just kill the minions. Get more gold. Why was he back there? That made no sense.
I think he was looking to do some counter jungling of sorts, but at this stage in the game, especially with the vision that Rekt has got too, it's very hard to make that happen without that going noticed. Arakizora, well, that's an aggressive move, Araki.
Yeah, that really is. Does use the boots to get away. Hammy is going to be there with Rekt, Githian wall. Does use the passage to get away. That's a lot of damage from Arakizora, though. You weren't wrong. He is a hell of a Arakizora player. A Arakizora player? Hell of an Adagio player. He is himself correct. The turret is almost going to fall. It ends up falling. 10-minute mark. First turret down. Sibs is here as well. They want to make this into a fight. Rate is going fairly low. Sibs is going to come in. He's going to have to come in really hard here. The just sustain coming out for Rakizoro is huge. And now they're just putting on they're putting the pedal to the metal. Rogue is just falling left, right, and center. Sibs ends up falling, but they do trade 1 for 1. Rakizoro, obviously the last man alive. This guy's an absolute monster in this laning carry position. Evo is probably going to get taken out as well. Will it be a triple kill for him, or will Rex steal it? My goodness. Gankstars look incredible.
They really do. Super aggressive. Xenotech really leading the charge, and Rakizoro almost untouched in the backline here. I think Humanist is right. Rakizoro certainly made the European region look good when he was playing for Gankstars Cerberus over there. So I think it was Gankstars. I always get confused whether it was Cerberus in EU or Cerberus in NA, but I'm just going to say Cerberus and hope I'm right. Rakizoro looked great when he was playing for them over there. So I think, yeah, this guy is back to the competitive scene. He's a star for a reason, and playing this lane Adagio looks absolutely fantastic. Lane Adagio is still super strong, something that EU have generally favoured over NA, but you give it to the likes of the players that you have in North America, and it can still wreak absolute havoc. And Iraqi doing a great job of showing just what Lane Adagio can still achieve.
Yeah, and exactly that. And he's kind of gone with that with the build path as well. Does have the infusion in his kit also for him to use whenever he feels like it. Shatterglass picked up, so he's just doing the absolute world of damage. See Sibs just kind of chilling on that rock. He wants to kind of do something, but he just can't engage. It's just so hard for them.
Yeah, and also now you can see double Atlas Pauldron picked up. Sibs is going to get nothing done. And Atlas Pauldron actually is uniquely good against both Sibs and Hammy. You don't often have Atlas Pauldron working into 2 members or 2 carries of the enemy team, but it works into Sibs because it slows his weakness stacks build up, and the fact that his only item is a breaking point, so it slows the breaking point stacks. And it's good against Hammy because if you can land it onto Lyra, which will be very difficult, she's got alternating current, so she's an attack speed kind of CP-based carry here. Oh my word, look at Xenotech.
Xenotech just doesn't really care at this point. They're going to jump straight in. Sibs is in the mix. He actually does get rooted up here. Hammy's doing a lot of damage from the backside, but Xenotech, you've got to keep your eye on this guy. The amount of damage he's pumping out is absolutely incredible. They managed to take out Kroll. Sibs just falls by the wayside. Evo just trying to get to that passage, but Xenotech actually makes it there before he can. Zips through. They leave Rakizoro to just finish them off. Ace comes through, and Xenotech, this boy is an absolute god on this carry. I just can't believe how good Gankstars look. 8k gold lead. They're going to crack the base at this point as well. 13 minutes in. Where did these guys come from?
Xenotech playing Taka showed us exactly what he can achieve. And this is a guy that there were questions raised. I was playing at the last live championships as well. There were questions raised about whether he was a competitive player or whether he was just a streamer. He went back, he trained hard, he literally named every one of his streams like sweaty solo queue and was just absolutely putting in the hours. He's come back to the competitive setting. There were again questions about whether Xenotech was going to be any good. He's kind of tried his hand at competitive and hasn't really performed before. And now he seems to have found the home at Gankstars, and he looks excellent. But let's not take away from Rekt and Rakizoro as well, because the whole team seems to be the complete package. Rekt has always been a super confident captain player, or rather Rome when he... I'm never going to not call it Rome, it's really bad. He's always been a super confident captain player, always been mega confident in his own abilities. Compare that with a Rakizoro, a great leader, mechanically sound, really safe, great tactical mind. You've got the complete package here with Gankstars Serious, or just Gankstars. Gotta stop saying Serious. Just Gankstars. Just Gankstars. The whole package right now. I genuinely think they're a real contender here in the North American VG8.
Oh boy, and if they do win this best of 3, which is looking quite likely right now, Xscoundrel, they will obviously go ahead and face none other than TSM.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
That series is going to be a little bit mind-boggling. I mean, both those teams are performing so well today, clearly on their good days. Xenotech is going to secure the gold miner, and they're doing it yet again. They're just freezing this wave, and they're even pulling it as well, so it freezes even harder for the likes of Gankstars. This is so punishing on Rogue. You can see them trying to make something happen here, but it's just not working for them.
No, because obviously there's a bit of a fight going here.
Man.
Kind of bad.
Yeah, kind of bad indeed. Sibs is in the back line. He jumps onto Rakizora, but so much damage is going down. Xeno actually gets pulled back in by Evo there. Really nice play coming out from Evo, but he almost just gets taken out. However, Lyra just didn't stand a chance. Look at Sibs, still alive, but Rakizora, this guy's just kiting him around. Not a care in the world. Another ace comes through almost. Evo almost going down at the end of that fight, and Gankstars, they could just pretty much end the game at this point. Kraken is available, though.
Yeah, they're going to go for Kraken. I really like what Gankstars are doing, and you mentioned it before. Freezing the wave, pulling it so that it pushes towards them, then taking the back jungle away from Rogue, forcing Rogue to be in the position where they have to say, we have to fight or we lose our entire jungle, we lose our entire gold income, and we get starved again. Like Gankstars did to us the previous game, we get starved again. And then they forced a fight. They're 10k gold behind, and essentially there's nothing more to analyze in that fight other than realistically this is just the massive deficit that Rogue have right now. You're 10k gold behind. Rogue played that fight fairly well, you would have to say, but it's just how far ahead Gankstars are right now. You actually can't compete in a teamfight setting. You genuinely can't. You don't have the damage output. You've got just a breaking point Sibs who hasn't even got a Storm Crown. You've got a Lyra who isn't realistically the highest damage output carry, especially laner. So it's just a difficult situation for Rogue. They have made to make a bait happen, though.
It's a really difficult situation. Will the bait work off, though? Xenotech goes straight onto the Lyra. Here comes a Rakizora, though. He does so much work at this point in the game. Sibs is just melting. But look at Xenotech. He actually gets killed in the back line. It was a 2v1 situation. Almost pulled away with a kill. Now it is a 2v3. Rakizora still putting down the damage. Hammy goes down. Oh, my goodness. That burst damage onto Sibs. He ends up falling. Evo, the last member alive. Rakizora, this boy is popping off left, right, and center. Picks up the ace. What can be done to stop Gankstars? And all the meanwhile, it's Scoundrel. The Kraken was just knocking at their base.
Yeah, I've got to say, Gankstars look fantastic, but I don't think Rogue have been on their A game this series either. The Rogue that we have seen have been thoroughly more impressive than what we're seeing here today. But Gankstars look fantastic. They had complete control. There was no DC this time round. They still executed a similar game plan to the first game. The first time I've seen a team really starve the enemy completely by freezing the lane and then forcing them to lose their own back jungle or engage and lose the fight anyway. Again, I'd say it, Gankstars look great. They really, really do. And Rogue, I don't know whether they just had a little bit of a tilt from that first game series. Obviously, it was a really tricky situation. Not my remit to talk about the kind of influence and effect that has on the players, but you've got to, if we're being honest, you've got to say it has some mental effect for the players, potentially losing the first game because of that DC solely. But as much as you can say that, Jaws, you can't take away from how good Gankstars look this series. I want to say it's because Rogue had the DC. I want to say it's because Rogue, were tilted or not playing well. But realistically, you've got to look at Gankstars and say, damn, they played good.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, they did. Gankstars, oh, man. What a game it's going to be later. They're going to be facing off against TSM, of all people. The team that just looked so strong coming up against Cloud9. And now this could be the match, at least to watch this week. And boy, I cannot wait for it. But to break this game down even further, we're going to throw it over to AJ and the guys on the desk. Me and Scoundrel, we'll see you in a bit.
All right, well, Gankstars taking a clean 2-0 series over Rogue to move forward to the finals against TSM. Very strong performance in that second game.
Yeah, Gankstars.